Hi, my friend. Welcome to week number 9 of the Becoming Challenge. I'm so grateful that you've decided to join us today. And of course, if you're joining for the first time, please go back and watch the others in this series. It's going to be a really great week. We're coming into week number 9 out of 12. We are 2 months down and 1 month to go in this 90-day challenge, and you are becoming a new version of yourself. We've seen God do some amazing things. I've seen him showing up over and over again in my own life, as well as in the lives of those who are doing the work in this challenge and sending it in. And we are so grateful to see you doing that work and holding yourself accountable to the change that you want to see in your life. You know, if you change nothing, nothing will change, right? And you have to be committed in order for the change to happen. Now, this is about having that God possible goal, either for something you want to accomplish, something that you want to be. And the question that I would pose to you is, who do you have to be the person that can do that thing, accomplish that thing, receive that award, whatever the case may be. And so today we're going to be talking about simplifying and taking action, to accelerating our action toward that. And so if you notice, I'm in a new space today. Again, we are home in Mexico, and this is my home office. We have repainted and are slowly getting things back together, so it doesn't look exactly like I want it to yet, but grateful for traveling mercies and being back in our own space for a while. One of the things that I am becoming is a gardener. And it's so exciting to be home again and have my garden right outside my back porch and be able to start working on the garden. I always said I can't even keep fake plants alive. Like it's a miracle that my kids have survived as long as they have, right? Because I am such a terrible gardener. I have been, but I am becoming a good gardener. And I found this girl that teaches kitchen gardens, which essentially is a raised bed garden right outside your house where you can plant herbs and flowers and foods that you use on a daily basis. And she teaches you how to do it, not just, we think of garden, we think of like these huge fields with straight rows and a lot of weeding and tending and all that kind of thing, but she teaches you how to do a smaller garden that looks almost like a flower garden or those European kinds of gardens, and teaches you how to plant for every season. So no matter what the temperatures are in almost any place in the world, you can have fruit that are fruit plants that are bringing forth fruit, that are seeds that are growing things that you can go pick off and eat. Lettuce plants and cucumbers. Anyway, you can tell I'm all excited about this, but I'm really excited to do it with the family. I'm excited to improve our space out there, make it look pretty. I love the way those European gardens look. And I love that this is not just about plants and eating the plants, but it's also about making a pretty space. And so we're looking forward to doing that. And I am becoming a gardener. But what did I have to do that? First, I had to desire it. Then I had to take action for it. And then I have to change how I'm talking to myself about it. I've caught myself even on this video already saying I'm becoming a gardener, right? And so you also have to have a desire, like, what do you want? And then what is required? What's required of you to be the person that is a gardener in my case? What is required of you what do you have to be? Who do you have to be? What do you have to know? Who do you have to know in order to be able to do this? And in my case, I decided to put my money where my mouth is and pay someone to teach me how to do this. There's actually people who have courses and teach other people how to do this, right? And so I signed up for the course, and my kids are going to go through it with me, and we're going to learn how to plant this garden. But that God possible goal of keeping plants alive long enough for them to give us food is not going to happen without some education, without some sweat and tears, without some dirt under the fingernails. It's not going to happen unless I take action on that desire and reach out to the resources that God has for me. Now, the other thing is, you would say, like, you've only got a 12 by 30 space. Katie, how in the world are you going to have a garden that's going to make food for a family? And Yet I had to get creative. I had to think outside the box, find someone who knows how to do it in that space, and build the gardens that way. Not in the long rows we think of as a garden, but in these boxes that are just full to overflowing of plants and flowers and things. And anyway, what I want you to think about is as we are looking at who we are becoming, are you continuing to act and respond like the old you, or are you constantly reminding yourself to respond like the new you? And I caught myself even on this call already. I am becoming a gardener, right? And then to say, I can't keep plants alive. No, I'm learning how to keep plants alive, right? I can't continue to react like my past Katie if I am expecting myself to grow into the new future Katie. And I want you to challenge yourself with the way that you're thinking, the way that you're talking to yourself, the way that you're making decisions, the way that you are responding or reacting in different circumstances. Are you still acting like the old person, or are you acting like the future person that you know God wants you to become? I want you to look back, not to base your actions off of the past or basing them off the future, but look back and say, how was I different 7 days ago? How was I different 30 days ago? What's different in my life now from a year ago? What's different in my life now from 3 years ago? And stop and take inventory on what is different. And then I want you to set this week's goal based on who you are becoming. This month ahead of us, the last month in this 90-day challenge, don't fall out. Don't let it go. Don't pat yourself on the back and say, it's okay, you don't have to do this. No, you committed to do this. Stay in here. Stay with me. If I'm committing to it, you can commit to it. Stay in here and do this. But what does that make possible? Based on who you are becoming, what needs to happen this week to get there? What kind of actions will you take? What kind of decisions will you make? How will you simplify? What things will you cut out? What things will you add in? And, in order for us to reach those goals that seemed impossible to us in the past, it requires that we give ourselves space for curiosity, space for exploration, space for creativity, space for unlearning so that we can relearn, right? We have to give ourselves space. I signed up for that garden class. I've got to build time into my schedule to be able to take the class, to be able to do the learning and the unlearning of what I thought to be true about gardening. I didn't know that much, to be honest. It demands that we create the supply, that we create the space for this to happen, for the curiosity and the learning to happen. When we demand something, the supply increases. And when you figure out what you want, when you start to demand that, when you start to think about it, when you start to go after that, then you're going to find that it shows up. What do you want? And how can you cut the time in half to get it, right? I want food for my family. I want the pleasure of having a beautiful space out there. What can I do to cut the time in half to get it? I can garden every season. I can find plants that grow in every season. And thankfully I'm in Mexico where it's warm or hot most of the year. We hardly even have a cool season, much less a cold one. And so we can have tons and tons and tons of these leafy vegetables any time of year, cutting the time that it might take to get those crops from other places, making space to grow. I want you to see the bigger you. I want you to see the bigger mission that you have, that God possible goal, that God possible person that you are becoming. And now I want you to bring it from 10 years to 3, or from 3 years to 1. What do those goals look like? Not just the goal for 90 days. Now we're looking further out at that big mission. And what is the goal for 10 years or 3 years from now that you can bring closer? And how can you do that? How could you cut that time in half? What can you do this week, this month, to become that person, to become the person that could achieve this thing, to become the person who would know the person who could make that opportunity possible, to become the person who is ready to receive that thing, so that you can make that happen faster. I want you to think about the key experiences or wins that you've had, the key things that have happened to develop you. Because this is not just about oh, I'm still in the grind. No, it's not about grinding at all. It's about glorifying the Lord by changing into who he is becoming us to be. And so as you continue to grow, think about those experiences that you have had already in the last 2 months, just since this challenge started. What are the things that you have seen already that show you that you are becoming that person that you wanted to be? That future self that you desire, those future accomplishments, they're already happening. I want you to take note of those things that have already happened to show you that this is happening, this is coming, this is possible. If God can do that, he can do that, right? And then what's happened in the last 7 days? So first, since this challenge started, and then in the last 7 days, what has happened to tell you that this is all coming together? I'll tell you what's happened for me in the last 7 days that really kind of made this real is my trellises arrived. I ordered my garden trellises from Amazon and they showed up on my doorstep. Well, this is real, buddy, right? Like I put the money out, now the product has arrived. I really got to start putting this thing together and figuring out the next steps. Who do I need to be that person? I need to be the person who is asking questions in the group that goes with the course. I need to be the person that is watching the videos, that is doing the homework, that is doing what I committed to do to become the person who is a gardener, who has a kitchen garden that provides for the family, provides food, provides space, provides beauty, provides time together, provides the peace. There's actually a physiological thing that I can't explain that happens when you get your hands in the dirt. Anyway, this is not meant to be a promo for gardening, but I'm just so excited. It's a new thing for me. I'm becoming the person who is a gardener. And what are you becoming? What are you excited about? And how can you look back over these last 7 days and see all of those pieces starting to fall into place to make it real? Who do you need to be? Maybe your God possible goal is a vacation to Europe. Maybe it is buying a brand new car. Maybe it is giving to a charity. Maybe it is making 100,000 on a single keynote. What are those God possible goals? There's no judgment here. You get to dream as big as God can put the desires in your heart. What desires does he put in there? How big can you dream? And then what action can you take? You know, one of my goals is that $100,000 keynote. Eventually I will get there. But what am I doing in the process to become the person who is worthy of a $100,000 keynote? I am enrolling myself in trainings, hiring a speaking coach, putting my assistant through a business training for assistance of speakers so that we have a better working relationship and a better system to use. Asking for feedback, being vulnerable and allowing people to give me critique on my website, on my speeches, on my talk. And then being able to take that and use it to become the person that I am becoming, to become the person who could one day get that kind of a payday from a speaking engagement. And then how are you going to finish this last 90 days? We're starting the last month this week. We've got roughly 30 days left. This is week number 9 in this challenge. How are you going to finish this 90 days? What does that look like? I want you to draft that plan, put it together. And again, if you're not getting the assignments for this, be sure and sign up for the email at the link somewhere near this video so that we can get you those assignments. But we would love to hear from you as you answer these questions. We can't wait to see you next week. God's up to some amazing things, my friends. Keep praising him. You are becoming who he wants you to be.